So what is up, guys? Brendan Suter back, and today we are here with NFL Week, Michael Crabtree, Brandon Marshall, Bart Starr, and Patrick Mahomes. It is Week 15 predictions. If you're looking to watch a certain matchup, timestamps are in the description box below. So click on that match you want to see. Anyways, last week was phenomenal for me. I was 9-4. Now this week, there are no more bye weeks. Not anymore for the rest of the season. So we got 16 matches to get to. So without further ado, let's get this video. So we're starting off with our Thursday Night Football matchup and a rematch of the 2013 NFC Championship game, classic NFC West rivalry between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Starting off with the Niners, a dominant 35-7 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brock Purdy had an excellent game, throwing for 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher Christian McCaffrey with 119 yards and a touchdown. Team had 209 rushing yards in the day, 3 rushing touchdowns, one of them by Brock Purdy, another by Deebo Samuel, so very impressive. Lead receiver Brandon Ayuk, 2 receptions, 57 yards and a touchdown, followed by Deebo Samuel, 4 receptions, 43 yards. He is dealing with a sprained MCL, so he could be coming back later this season. And then Christian McCaffrey, 2 receptions, 34 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense just completely locked down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so impressive stuff. And then the Seahawks, are you coming back to reality? Because that super hot start that you had is not really apparent right now as you lost the Panthers 30-24. Geno Smith, not his best, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Lead rush was Travis Homer with 26 yards. Lead receiver Marquise Goodwin, 5 receptions, 95 yards, and a touchdown, followed by DK Metcalf, 5 receptions, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And then Tyler Lockett, 5 receptions, 6 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense just got exposed by Carolina's rush game. Sam Darnold didn't do too much with the pass, but the rush game was just way too much for you guys to handle. Anyways, 49ers are 3.5-point favorites to win this one. And with the Seahawks' downfall and their struggle to stop the run, Niners win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, our first Saturday matchup of the season between the Indianapolis Colts and the Minnesota Vikings. Starting off with the Colts, you were on your bye last week, but came out with a pathetic 54-19 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Matt Ryan, he threw for 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Now, once again, you kept this game close. But the fourth quarter, you shot yourselves in the foot and never recovered. Lead rusher, Jonathan Taylor with 82 yards. Lead receiver was Alec Pierce, 4 receptions, 86 yards, and a touchdown. Followed by Paris Campbell, 4 receptions, 43 yards. And then Jelani Woods, 2 receptions, 28 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense just got exposed in the fourth quarter. Like I said, kept it close, but fourth quarter was a mess, especially towards the rush game. And then the Vikings, a tough 34-23 loss to the Detroit Lions last week. Kirk Cousins, excellent game, threw for 425 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But it's such a Vikings thing when they're going to have a performance like that from Kirk Cousins and have their defense implode. Lead rusher, Dalvin Cook, only mustered up 23 yards on a touchdown. Lead receiver, Justin Jefferson, 11 receptions, 223 yards. Followed by TJ Hawkinson, 6 receptions, 77 yards. Adam Thielen, 7 receptions, 65 yards, and a touchdown. And then KJ Osborne, 5 receptions, 38 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, nothing else to be said. You got flat out crushed by the Detroit Lions. And the way that the game basically ended was a Penei Sewell first down on a reception. That's how bad the defense was. But anyways, Vikings, they're 4.5-point favorites to win this one. And I'm going to say the Vikings win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic AFC North rivalry between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Starting off with the Browns, you pulled out a 16-14 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tyler Huntley, he threw for 88 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He did get injured. So in came in Anthony Brown, who only threw for 16 yards. But Huntley, he should be good to return this week. I think he passed concussion protocol, and he is practicing, so signs are looking up for you. But in terms of rushing, J.K. Dobbins, excellent game, 120 yards and a touchdown, followed by Gus Edwards with 66 yards. Lead receiver, Jamarcus Robinson, 5 receptions, 52 yards, followed by Deshaun Jackson, 2 receptions, 34 yards. And then Mark Andrews, 2 receptions, 17 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it held down the Pittsburgh Steelers, but this was led by Mitchell Trubisky, which not much else could be said. And then the Browns, a tough 23-10 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Deshaun Watson, not his best, 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Once again, really showing that 2-year hiatus is definitely impacting him because he's extremely rusty. Followed up, Nick Chubb led rushing with 34 yards, followed by Watson with 33. Lead receiver, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 8 receptions, 114 yards, followed by David Njoku, 7 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown. And then Amari Cooper, 2 receptions, 42 yards. That's pretty much it. And the defense just really struggled against the Cincinnati Bengals. Sure, they got a turnover out of it, but in the end, just Couldn't pull off anything. Anyways, Browns are 3-point favorites to win this one, but I'm going to say that the Ravens come out here and pull off the upset. And now you have our final Saturday matchup, a classic AFC East rivalry between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Starting off with the Dolphins, a tough 23-17 loss to the LA Chargers. Tua Tagovailoa may have played the worst game of his career. That includes NFL and college. 10 for 28, 145 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Just a really bad performance by him. Lead rusher was Raheem Mostert with 37 yards. Lead receiver was Tyreek Hill, 4 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown. And followed up with Jalen Waddle, 2 receptions, 31 yards. And then Cedric Wilson, 2 receptions, 19 yards. That was pretty much it. But the only other highlight that you had on offense was a fumble that got recovered by Tyreek Hill that he ran into the end zone for the touchdown, because that's what Tyreek Hill does. He's the most game-breaking receiver in the game. And then the defense just got torched by Justin Herbert, but I'm not going to give you too much blame on that because Justin Herbert's the GOAT. Anyways, and then with the Bills, you pulled out a 20-12 victory over the New York Jets. Josh Allen, not his best, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Led rushing with 47 yards and a touchdown, followed by Devin Singletary with 39 yards. Lead receiver Dawson Knox, 4 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Stephon Diggs, 3 receptions, 37 yards, and then Gabe Davis, 3 receptions, 31 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, I mean, it shut down the New York Jets, even though Mike White was playing rather hobbled because he basically got killed twice in the field and played through it like a soldier. Anyways, Bills, they're 7.5-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. Miami keeps it close. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic NFC South rivalry between the Atlanta Falcons and my boys in the New Orleans Saints. Start off with the Falcons, lost 19-16 to the Pittsburgh Steelers the last time he played. Marcus Mariota, not his best, threw for 167 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and they're moving on to Desmond Ridder this week. Marcus Mariota basically quit on the team, pulled a Bobby Petrino as he just wasn't satisfied with what's going on, so he basically quits on the team. Anyways, followed up, lead rusher was Cordero Patterson with 60 yards. Rush game was strong, put up 147 yards of the day. Lead receiver, Drake London, 6 receptions, 95 yards, followed by Anthony Fursker, 2 receptions, 24 yards. And then Parker Hesse, 1 reception, 16 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they did okay against the Steelers, but it's the Steelers' offense. There's really nothing that wows me about that. And then the Saints, you broke me. You broke me. We had a 60-3 lead over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We blew it. We lost, and I am now officially a broken fan. So fuck you, New Orleans. Anyways, Andy Dalton, he threw for 229 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Mark Ingram with 27 yards, followed by Kamara with 26. Lead receiver, Rashid Shaheed, 4 receptions, 75 yards, followed by Chris Olave, 4 receptions, 65 yards. And then Taysom Hill, 2 receptions, 35 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, did great in the first 3 quarters, but what happened in the last 5 minutes? We choked. We crumbled. The offense was completely neutral, just showed no aggressiveness, and the defense fucking collapsed in the final 5 minutes. Saw me break. I'm done with this team. I'm officially done. But we're still 4-point favorites to win this one, so Saints win and cut the spread because fuck the Falcons. And now you have our very next matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. Start off with the Eagles, a dominant 48-22 victory over the New York Giants. Jalen Hurts, great game, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Miles Sanders broke out with 144 rush yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Jalen Hurts with 77 yards and a touchdown, and then Boston Scott, 33 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, A.J. Brown, 4 receptions, 70 yards and a touchdown, followed by Devontae Smith, 5 receptions, 64 yards and a touchdown. And then finally, Grant Calcaterra, 2 receptions, 24 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they just did a great job against the New York Giants. And then the Bears, you were on your bye last week, but lost the Packers 28-19. Justin Fields threw for 254 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Also led rushing with 71 yards and a touchdown, followed by Dave Montgomery, who had 61 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, Equanimeous St. Brown, 3 receptions, 85 yards, followed by Cole Kmet, 6 receptions, 72 yards. And then N'Keal Harry, 1 reception, 49 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense they were okay against Green Bay at the beginning, but then just completely faltered because Aaron Rodgers, despite him having an off season, he still owns you. Eagles are 8.5-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next match between the Dallas Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Start off with the Cowboys. You heavily played down to your competition last week as you nearly lost to the 1-10-1 Houston Texans at the time. They're now 1-11-1. You pulled out a 27-23 victory over them. Dak Prescott, not his best, threw for 284 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Lead rusher was Ezekiel Elliott with 62 yards and a touchdown, followed by Tony Pollard with 42 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, Dalton Schultz, 6 receptions, 87 yards, followed by Noah Brown, 4 receptions, 85 yards, and then Michael Gallup, 2 receptions, 40 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they bended quite a bit against the Houston Texans. And your offense, with their mistakes, nearly cost you the game, but you pulled down on top. But you were still 16.5-point favorites to win this one. And then the Jaguars, a stunning 36-22 victory over the Tennessee Titans. Trevor Lawrence, excellent game, threw for 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Etienne with 32 yards. They realized that you're not going to beat the Titans on the ground. You're going to beat them in the air, and that's just what they did. Lead receiver, Evan Ingram, 11 receptions, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Followed by Zay Jones, 8 receptions, 77 yards on a touchdown. And then Christian Kirk, 5 receptions, 45 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense just completely shut down the Tennessee Titans. Sure, they still put up some points on you, but you did also force 3 fumbles and a pick. So 4 turnovers on the day, not bad. Very impressive, Jacksonville. Anyways, my Cowboys are 4.5-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say if they win and cover the spread, they got a rebound after nearly losing to the Texans. And now you have our very next match between the Detroit Lions and the New York Jets. Starting off with the Lions, arguably one of your biggest statement victories in this past 3 or 4 seasons, winning 34-23 over the Minnesota Vikings. Jared Goff, excellent game, threw for 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was CJ Moore with 42 yards, but you had 134 rush yards in the day, which was pretty solid. Lead receiver, DJ Chark, 6 receptions, 94 yards and a touchdown. Followed by Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 receptions, 68 yards. Josh Reynolds, 5 receptions, 51 yards and a touchdown. And then Jamison Williams, you took him with your first-round pick. He tore his ACL in the national championship game last year, and he had 1 reception for 41 yards and a touchdown. Great way to start off the NFL career. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they bent quite a bit. Sure, they allowed 22 rushing yards, but they bent to Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, but still ended up pulling out the victory because your offense played a miraculous game. So a lot of credit out to you. And then the Jets, tough 20-12 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Mike White threw for 268 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He did get injured twice, and his status of playing this week is up in the air. Zonovan Knight led rushing with 71 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver Garrett Wilson, 6 receptions, 78 yards. Followed by Elijah Moore, 6 receptions, 60 yards. And then Denzel Mims, 3 receptions, 35 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it was okay. It was pretty solid against the Buffalo Bills, but your offense just couldn't muster anything up. Jets are currently favored to win this one by 0.5 point, so give me the Lions in this one because they've been playing with fire recently. And now you have our very next match between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Carolina Panthers. Oh, dear God, this match is going to suck. Anyway, starting off the Steelers, you lost 16-14 last time against Baltimore Ravens. Kenny Pickett instantly went out with a concussion, and he's not going to be back this week. So in comes Mitch Kissantitties. Not a great game. 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Lead rusher was Najee Harris with 33 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Deontay Johnson, 6 receptions, 82 yards. Followed by George Pickens, 3 receptions, 78 yards. And then Pat Freiermuth, 3 receptions, 33 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they held down the Baltimore Ravens. But once again, this was Tyler Huntley and Anthony Brown, and you couldn't even neutralize the rush game. So, big flaw towards you guys. And then the Carolina Panthers, nice 30-24 victory over the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold doing his classic 3 good games thing. He was mad, threw for 120 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Chuba Hubbard with 74 yards and a touchdown, followed by Dante Foreman with 74 yards as well. And then Raheem Blackshear with 32 yards and a touchdown had a total of 223 rush yards on the day, which was extremely impressive. So keep that up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lead receiver Laviska Shenault Jr., 4 receptions, 31 yards, followed by Chuba Hubbard, 3 receptions, 25 yards. Terrence Marshall, 1 reception, 18 yards, and then Shai Smith, 2 receptions, 17 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it did a fair amount of bending towards the receiving game of the Seattle Seahawks, but not the rush game. So good victory overall. Panthers are 3-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, a rematch of the 2019 AFC divisional game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. Starting off with the Chiefs, you won 34-28 over the Denver Broncos, but it should not have been as close as it was. Patrick Mahomes, he threw for 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 3 picks. Lead rusher was Isaiah Pacheco with 70 yards. Lead receiver, Jerick McKinnon, 7 receptions, 112 yards, and 2 touchdowns. followed by Juju Smith-Schuster, 9 receptions, 74 yards and a touchdown, and then Travis Kelce, 4 receptions, 71 yards. That was pretty much it, and the defense played an excellent first quarter, but the final 3 quarters, there was a lot of exposition. Still pulled out the victory, but once again, should not have been that close. And then the Texans came so close to winning the Battle of Texas, lost 27-23 to the Dallas Cowboys. Davis Mills, he threw for 175 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Jeff Driscoll, he also played, threw for 38 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Dameon Pierce with 78 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Chris Moore, 10 receptions, 124 yards, followed by Amari Rodgers, 4 receptions, 57 yards and a touchdown. And then Philip Dorsett, 2 receptions, 18 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense just got flat out exposed by Dallas. But once again, this is Dallas's offense, so I expected quite a bit of bending. Anyways, the Chiefs are 14-point favorites to win this one. And unlike the Cowboys, Chiefs win and cover the spread. And now you have our very first 4 o'clock game, which is a rematch of the Tuck rule between the New England Patriots and the Las Vegas Raiders. Starting off with the Patriots, 27-13 victory over the Arizona Cardinals. Mac Jones, threw for 235 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher was Pierre Strong Jr. with 70 yards and a touchdown, followed by Kevin Harris. Yes, Kevin Harris, not Damian Harris, with 26 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, Hunter Henry, 3 receptions, 70 yards, followed by Kendrick Bourne, 5 receptions, 47 yards. And then Nelson Aguilar, 5 receptions, 32 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they did a good job against the Arizona Cardinals, but Kyler Murray went out on his 3rd play of the game. So, slight asterisk next to it, but still wins a win. And then the Raiders, fuck you guys. That might have been one of the worst collapses I've seen since the Saints blew it against the Buccaneers, which was only about 3 goddamn days apart. So that was a pathetic loss. Derek Carr, he threw for 137 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Lead rusher was Josh Jacobs with 99 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, Devontae Adams, 3 receptions, 71 yards, followed by Mac Hollins, 2 receptions, 22 yards. And then Amir Abdullah, 2 receptions, 17 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, excellent, first 55 minutes, but the final 5 minutes is where you blew it. Like the Saints did against the Buccaneers, which I'm still never over, and why I'm done with that team. Anyways, Patriots are favored to win this one by half a point, so yeah, they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Arizona Cardinals and the Denver Broncos. Starting off the Cardinals, a tough 27-13 loss to the New England Patriots. Kyler Murray, like I said earlier, he only was in the game for 3 plays, and then he tore his ACL, so huge loss for you guys. And so Colt McCoy came in, threw for 246 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher was James Conner with 85 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was D-Hop, 7 receptions, 79 yards, followed by Robbie Anderson, 4 receptions, 50 yards, and then Hollywood Brown, 4 receptions, 34 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, just good against the pass, not that great against the rush, but with how lackluster your offense was once Kyler Murray went out, I would expect that kind of loss. And then the Denver Broncos. Broncos country, let's ride into playoff elimination, as you have been eliminated from the playoffs and arguably have been the biggest disappointment this year. My expectation on you were pretty high, even though I had you as a 7 seed, because I was still high on you, but moderate. But still, this is a huge goddamn letdown. Russell Wilson threw for 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He did get injured, so in came in Brett Rippon, who threw for 16 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Russell Wilson also led rushing with 57 yards. Lead receiver was Jerry Jeudy, 8 receptions, 73 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the day. Excellent day for him, followed by Marlon Mack, 2 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. And then Greg Dulcich, 3 receptions, 42 yards. That was pretty much it, and the defense just completely bent and broke towards the Kansas City Chiefs. But I can't give you too much flame for that because the Chiefs are extremely good, even though you put up a pretty good fight later in the game. Anyways, Broncos are 3-point favorites to win this one, so I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread, but don't let me down against Colt McCoy. And now you have our very next matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the LA Chargers. Starting off with the Titans, a humiliating 36-22 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ryan Tannehill threw for 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lead rusher was Derrick Henry with 121 yards and a touchdown, but he did lose 2 fumbles. So big concern right there with ball security issues. Lead receiver was Austin Hooper, 5 receptions, 68 yards, followed by Robert Woods, 5 receptions, 49 yards, and then Chikozium Akwanko, 6 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, great job against the rush, but got exposed by Trevor Lawrence. And the passing game, Trevor Lawrence, once again, I think he's a great QB, but still, that's a tough pill to swallow knowing how bad your secondary was. And then the Chargers won 23-17 over the Miami Dolphins. I called it. That was my upset of the week. Justin Herbert is that guy. 367 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Austin Eckler with 45 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Mike Williams, 6 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Followed by Keenan Allen, 12 receptions, 92 yards. And then Austin Eckler, 8 receptions, 59 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, really only struggled against Tyreek Hill. But other than that, you shut down one of the better offenses in football, made Tua Tagovailoa's life a living hell, and ultimately neutralized Tyreek Hill. But the one thing that's going to boost his stat was that fumble recovery he picked up for a touchdown. Chargers are 3-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Starting off with the Bengals, nice 23-10 victory over the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow had a solid game, threw for 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lead rusher was Joe Mixon with 96 yards, followed by Samaje Perine with 22 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, come on, who else but Jamar Chase? 10 receptions, 119 yards, and a touchdown. Followed up with Trenton Irwin, 2 receptions, 58 yards, and a touchdown. And then Trent Taylor, 1 reception, 34 yards. And that was pretty much it. The defense did a great job against the Cleveland Browns. You shut down the run game. Deshaun Watson still super rusty, so you completely took advantage of that. So a nice victory as Joe Burrow defeats Cleveland for the first time in his career. That is a complete shocker. And once again, when I told everyone that he had yet to do that before that game, they were all completely shocked. And then the Buccaneers, pathetic 35-7 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Tom Brady threw for 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Lead rusher was Rachaad White with 56 yards. Lead receiver Chris Godwin, 5 receptions, 54 yards. Followed by Mike Evans, 4 receptions, 44 yards. And then Julio Jones, 5 receptions, 38 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense just bent and broke towards Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. In particular, the rushing attack. So, that's completely humiliating. And honestly, the offense over the last couple of games has not really been anything special outside of the comeback you had against the Saints, which I'm still broken by. Anyways, Bengals are favored to win this one by 3.5. I'm going to say they win and cover the spread. And now you have our Sunday Night Football matchup, a classic NFC East rivalry between the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders. Starting off with the Giants, you lost 48-22 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Daniel Jones, not his best, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. So Tyrod Taylor came in, did okay, threw for 47 yards and a touchdown, also led rushing with 40 yards. And then Saquon Barkley, 28 yards, and then Daniel Jones with 26 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Richie James, 7 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Darius Slayton, 2 receptions, 42 yards, and then Isaiah Hodgins, 4 receptions, 38 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it, and the defense just got exposed by Philly's ground game and their offensive attack in general. So, once again, tough pill to swallow. And then the Commanders, you mean the last time you played, you tied to the Giants 20-20. Taylor Heineke, he threw for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Brian Robinson with 96 yards. Lead receiver, who else but Scary Terry, 8 receptions, 105 yards, and a touchdown. Followed by Curtis Samuel, 6 receptions, 63 yards. And then Jahan Dotson, 5 receptions, 54 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense was okay against the Giants. I mean, you prevented them from winning. You just ended up tying. Anyways, but the Commanders are 4.5-point favorites to win this one. I'm saying they win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our Monday Night Football, a rematch of the 2020 NFC divisional game between the LA Rams and the Green Bay Packers. Starting off with the Rams, a nice 17-16 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. Baker Mayfield, the story was he was cut by Carolina, signed by the Rams, and had basically about 48 hours to prepare for the game, and pulled off a miraculous fourth quarter as he threw for 230 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Cam Akers with 42 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Ben Skoranek, 7 receptions, 89 yards, followed by Tutu Atwell, 5 receptions, 50 yards, and then Van Jefferson, 2 receptions, 44 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, a rough first half against the Raiders, but just completely shut them down in the second half. But that's completely on Josh McDaniels for fucking it up for the Raiders. And then the Packers, you pulled out a 28-19 victory over the Bears. Aaron Rodgers, even though his struggles have been real this season, still always pulls off his best against the Bears. He threw for 182 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was A.J. Dillon with 93 yards and a touchdown, followed by Christian Watson with 46 yards and a touchdown. So the rush game was pretty solid. Lead receiver was Allen Lazard, 5 receptions, 67 yards, followed by Christian Watson, 3 receptions, 48 yards, and a touchdown. It's just been out on a tear in this last week. And then A.J. Dillon, 3 receptions, 26 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it had quite a bit of bending, but locked up Justin Fields in the fourth quarter, especially on the most critical drives of the game. So Packers are 7-point favorites to win this one. I'm saying they win, but don't cover the spread. That's going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to watch my last video, click right over here. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe to my channel by clicking over here, or the subscribe button down below. Comment down below what your thoughts were, or who's your upset of the week, lock of the week, favorite team going to win. Follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Brendan Suter. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation. Still in the Blue Jays Christmas merch because I'm too good in this. Is out.